Bon dia, bon tardi e bon noche. Welcome back, guys, for episode 8. I have a super fun episode today, something I've been looking forward to for a while. With me, I have Adric Walter. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you for making the trip over.
Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me to your great podcast.
I appreciate it. First of all, elephant in the room. You are the flamboyant man, and it shows. Great outfit. I love the red, the pocket square, everything. I actually want to start with that. Like, you don't see too often that people from the island take so much pride in the style, in the swag that you got going. When did that start? Is it something you've always had, or is it something that it became part of your branding?
Yeah, thanks for the question. I think we all come from a very great place. I'm from Curacao, and we have many beautiful places, beautiful, colorful buildings. And I think we are inspired by our carnival. Probably we're going to talk a little bit about that today as well. And I think we should wear the colors to the world, because bringing color in the world is a good thing. I mean, we can differentiate by giving people the inspiration. We're having a nice place, so how well is it to carry it over to everyone so they get inspired?
I like that way of thinking, because you're right. I mean, if you look at the flora and the fauna, the culture, its colors, its vibrance.
It's vibrant,
and,
yes.
And flamboyant is the right word. From the animals to the buildings.
Exactly.
Lots of color, lot of attitude in the color.
Yeah,
also.
and even our birds are, have like the tropial and the baricael and even the blanchi. I mean, these beautiful birds, they are all colorful birds. So we have the prikichi, lots of very beautiful... So it's not only the buildings; it's also it's already there, all there in nature, right? So yeah,
awesome. Let's start with you recently made a post on Facebook about your past 20 years living in Holland.
Exactly.
And it was a hell of a post. I loved reading it. And I just want to start with, when and how did you move to Holland, and how did we get from there to where you are now?
Yeah, it was exactly the 4th of August, 2000 actually the 3rd of August, because you arrived the next day.
Yeah.
So I touched down at the 4th of August in the Netherlands on the year 2000. And 20 years later, 4th of August of the year 2020, I celebrated the 20 years. Living in the Netherlands.
It's a long time.
It's a very long time, yes. It's a very long time. It's I would say it's bittersweet, because I had so many beautiful years. But it's also meaning living far away from the family, from the country. And it's kind of bittersweet, but still I think it's a good thing to be celebrating and standing still at this very important moment. And I also think it signifies the challenges we are having in the way that, we are neither of us, a lot of us are not going back, so... That's why for me it was very interesting to have a moment to like let's take a time to think about this and
reflect on it.
Reflect on it, yes, exactly, and see what does it mean, what's the message in there, and how come it came that I celebrated 20 years in the Netherlands.
Because even though you've been here for 20 years, it's a long time to be away from your home, your culture, your people. In that sense, our people are here too. I mean, I'm very proud of the community we have here in the Netherlands, but it's not exactly the same. But in the 20 years you've been here, you've definitely made the effort to shape your identity and your career and your future, because what you're striving towards and things you have achieved is very indicative of the 20 years that you've worked for here in Holland. And I definitely want to talk about that, because you are a software engineer, if I'm not mistaken. Is that where you started off?
Yeah, that's where I started off. I did computer science. Since my 11 years, I was already busy with the computers. Like when other guys were playing with cars, I was like trying to break the computer, or trying to hack or program something. So I always had a lot of interest in the computer. And computer science was the next logical thing to go and study, and this is exactly also what I did. And
where did you study?
I studied in Rotterdam.
Okay.
And software engineering, business software engineering, And then I always wanted to be in this field because I already foresaw, I remember I read an article in 1997 where they predicted that the upcoming 30 to 40 years, this is going to be the place that technology and the computer technology is going to...
Yes, it's a gold rush.
It's kind of gold rush, yes, exactly. It's a digital gold rush.
Yeah. So you were the right place at the right time.
Yes, and plus it was it fitted seamlessly to my ambitions. So for me, it was great to be doing the computer science thing, and
And out of school, what was your first gig? Were you able to use your education for the purpose that you studied?
Yeah, it's funny because if we zoom back in time, in the year 2000, I didn't have my driver's license. So the summer just before I came to the Netherlands, which was around, I think around May, June, July, I had a job at Curacao.com. It used to be hosted by another company. It's not where it should be. So back in the days, I worked at the Curacao.com. And so I already started, like, before I went to study, like, doing programming because I was able to build websites. But those days were, like, really hardcore, like coding the HTML, like
raw code.
Raw code.
No web builder,
no web building, no drag and drop, just get the notepad and that
open header, code, close the header.
Exactly, yeah. So for me it was, and then I had a lady over there who was, she gave me the job and she told me, since you're going to study, try always to don't go like work in the Albert Heijn or anything, but try to find something that's IT related. So I took that piece of advice very closely, and it helped me because I was always like my bijbaantje or the side job I had, the side gig during my studies was that was in the IT sector. So I was always building things or coding, and also understanding a little bit about project management, how to do this, and truly understand how to build software, because coding is something, but to build things that can scale stuff that are going up on the internet and that it can stay over there for a long time, that's a different ball game. And
so you're talking about the whole user experience, the back end, front end.
The back end, front end, but also the reliability, like
integrity of it.
Yes, and be sure that this is something that's going to stay over there for a long time, because when you build it, build is one, but run it is the most important thing. I always compare it with an airplane. You can build an airplane, but an airplane needs to fly, and it needs to fly safely. And if you use the same analogy with building things on the internet or building stuff in the cloud nowadays, this is the type of mentality you should have to understand that building is one, but running is probably even more important.
And you just mentioned the cloud, and that's where you do a lot of your work, right?
Yeah, right now I'm what they call a cloud architect. So I build let's say, in reality, people build like a whole neighborhood, just where you live here, and they design. There's architect designing the thing. The same thing is happening in the cloud, but in a digital way. I'm building the online platforms, reassure they are secure, they're good. There's a lot of practice in the part of the privacy, so we need to take care of the data of the people, and also be sure that what we are processing is according to all the types of regulations we have, especially in the European Union. For example, you're not allowed to host any data of any European citizen outside of the European Union. So I cannot say, I built something for, let's say, a bank and host it in Brazil or host it in Japan. It's against the rules, but I can host it in France. I can host it in Ireland. I can host it in Germany, because that's the European Union, right? So these are all the things in the new way of living. I mean, 20 years ago, this was not the case, of course, but that's a way of thinking you develop over time. And
I still remember when popular media were making fun of the cloud because people didn't understand it. So it's not so new that most people are completely comfortable with it. And we've spoken before on the phone, and we talked about how people on the island, especially the older generation, they have trouble understanding new technology and utilizing it. And the cloud, it was always something people know. but it's on my phone, but it's not on my phone because it's in the cloud. So and one thing I realized about you is that there's two things you're very, very passionate about, and technology is one of them. In your upbringing, in your education, in your career path, technology has always been like on the forefront. But your passion for the islands and for Curacao is almost matching that as well. And a lot of things that you've been busy with recently in the past years is trying to find that middle ground between the two.
Yes.
How did that moment start where you realized that technology was going to be the way that you're going to try and contribute back to your country?
Yes. Like we just mentioned about the 20 years that I'm living in the Netherlands. And it's always a dilemma. Like I come back and they say, "Hey man, when are you coming back? When are you? We want you here." And I think it's a dilemma that many of us can relate with, because we want to contribute back to the island. We want to help. Our families are living there. It's the place we grew up. So it's a beautiful place, but we know we all have our challenges, right? So the most logical thing for me, even though it seems so logical now, but it took me a while to think about this, is that the best way to contribute is from my strength, and that's technology. That's the way I could like bring back things to help people with their dreams or whatever they want to do over there. I see a lot of rooms, a lot of opportunities, a lot of things, low-hanging fruits.
Absolutely.
Fixing basic things. And there are lots of... I'm not going to complain, definitely not, because I'm not the type of person who likes to complain. And even though if I complain, I always try to bring a solution together with my complaint, right? So we want to... I think it's a good idea to realize that if you have a certain talent or a certain skill or a certain experience, it's a great thing to give it back, because that's the most easiest thing. I mean, if you're the best painter, how great would it be to go and start a project on the islands and teach peoples and kids, for example, in neighborhoods to start painting? If you're the best plumber, it's a great way to give back. And
go plumb the hell out of something. I mean,
or if you're a teacher, whatever your profession is, or your skill, your talent, or whatever you have, is go there and give back. And this is what I'm doing with the technology.
And for you, it seems like it's not only like the opportunity, but it feels like a duty, like a responsibility. Does it feel that way to you as well?
Yeah, it feels like a duty, definitely, because it's about delivering on the promise. And the promise is you go to the Netherlands and then you come back within 4 max 6 years. 4 years, 6 years, you finish your study.
8 or 10 if you're a doctor.
8 or 10 if you're a doctor, of course. Yeah. You take a margin, extra margin, because things can always go different. But hey, again, that's where the 20 years is again showing Absolutely. Me, hey, man, you're kind of overdue. So, it's a duty. It's a duty, and I think I've been very privileged to do a very, very great things over here in the Netherlands. I've built a lot of experiences, met so many great people, had the opportunity to work with so many great colleagues, all types of projects everywhere. So it's so abundant that it's too much like not to give it back. It's not even fair then, I would say, to not give it back. Yeah.
Especially like you mentioned, a lot of it is low-hanging fruit in the sense that there hasn't even been an initial attempt to fix things or improve things in the right way. And if we're talking about technology specifically, it feels like for the very simple example, there's no reason why kids in grade school shouldn't get programming already, for example. So it seems like not only is there so many opportunities, but it can't be too hard to do since it's a small community and there's enough space for everyone to give something back. And before we dive in that specifically, you mentioned your experiences here in the past 20 years. I'm just curious, what is one of the things that you're most proud of in the past 20 years? What really sticks to your soul?
Yeah. Can I just say something about the opportunity? Because this is a very important word we need to be aware of, the word opportunity. First, there's something like creating opportunity. And even if the opportunity is over there, you should recognize the opportunity and then capitalize on the opportunity. This is also the part of the mindset I would like to discuss a bit down the road with you.
Absolutely.
About opportunity is so important to understand. Like on the islands, a lot of people say we have a lot of potentials. Yes, that's true. That means they are recognizing, or they think, or at least they feel that we have the opportunity. But capitalizing on the opportunity, which is a bit of a difficult word to say, I'm gonna make it happen. That's what it does mean, like to say I'm gonna capitalize on it. To answer your question, what am I mostly proud of?
Yeah, what's something that if you look back on your experiences here, because we're going to be talking about bringing it back to the islands.
Yeah.
What's something that really speaks to you, and that when you reflect back, you think that's what made me who I am?
Yeah, I think there are a few, but one that's for sure. I would say the persistency. Persist when it's difficult. I mean, I remember when I came here, it was not easy. The start was difficult. It was rough, but I didn't quit, right? And this was for me a very important thing at the moment to persist through the difficult times. I mean, we grow up on an island where the weather is constant.
Beautiful, perfect tropical island. So
yeah,
it's a big shift when you get here.
Yeah, it's constant. It's like if you would draw a line, it would be like one straight line, and once in a while a small bump.
Yeah, when it's a hurricane season, it's a little bit rainy, and that's it.
Exactly. Yeah. But when you come to the Netherlands, man, it starts with a fog. It gets a bit rainy. Then when you think it cannot get worse, then you get the snow and it starts to freeze.
Yep.
And
you still got to go to school.
You still got to go to school. It's dark. The sun is rising past 8 o'clock or something. I don't know what, but it's you go home when it's dark, you come back. And I mean, this is a total different concept. I mean, the first days it was cool in the summer because we all arrive in the summer, and then the sun is still up till past 10 o'clock, right? Yeah. For us who were born on the island, this is a very strange or interesting concept. It seems obvious, but it has a mental impact on you.
Yeah, it's an environmental shock that you go through when you realize that this is not my rhythm, temperature, daylight amount of daylight.
Daylight, yes.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a shock. So staying resilient and getting the job done regardless of all those things, because it does make it harder. Because not only do you have the educational, academic challenges, you have to graduate, you have to get good grades, you have to do your work, but then you also have to deal with missing home, feeling alone, the environmental shock, the culture shock. You can't just, if you're in Den Haag, Rotterdam, you're lucky, but here in Utrecht, you can't just go get stigo batata whenever you need it to make yourself feel better.
I'll get the pistachio.
Exactly. So let's jump back to the islands, because we can all agree that there's a lot of room for improvement. There's a lot of things that can be worked on, and there's a lot of opportunities to utilize and capitalize on.
Yes.
What do you think is one of the biggest issues that the island is facing, why there's such a need for technological development and growth?
Yes, I was thinking about this to articulate it in a more in a way that people would understand what, according at least to my vision. I mean, you can agree with me or you can disagree, which is totally fine. But I think there are three things that we should be focusing on, and that's, I would call it the MAAO, which is the mindset, the attitude, and the organization. With the mindset, I mean, to give you an example, back in the days, my grandmother, late grandmother, would say, Gobierno me está ayudando, the government should help us. She was born in 1912. She passed away in 1996. But still...
hell of a long life.
Yes.
Cheers to her.
Yeah, cheers to her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, cheers to her.
Beautiful life.
Yes. So, Gobierno me está ayudando, the government should help us. And unfortunately, it's my personal opinion, is that people are still thinking that the government should help them. Of course the government should help you. but you should help yourself as well. If you don't work, if you don't move, nothing is going to happen. So that's a mindset thing, I think, that's so important, that nothing stops you to start something great. Never. You can go into the barrios, you can start something, like we said. If you're the best plumber, go teach the kids over there to be the best plumber. Right? So if you're the best painter, start a project. So I'm not saying everyone is like this, of course, but it's a general thing that gobierno me ciudadanos. And this is what, when we talk about mindset, it's just like your phone. You have a couple of apps on it, and let's say the last good things, you should uninstall it. And I think the gobierno me ciudadanos, the government should help us, is one of those apps we need to uninstall and install a new app saying, I'm going to help myself, and if I come to 80, 90% or 70% or 60%, then maybe I'm going to check if the community can help me. And if the community cannot help you, then you go to the government. So that's a different way of thinking. That's how I also set up my projects. Like, I consider the government my stakeholder, which is a very important entity in by the end of the day. I'm not going to ignore or say the government is not important. That's totally not what I'm saying. But that should not be your first step to go, right? So that's a mindset thing. The other thing is the attitude. What I would like to see, if I would have like a wish list, is the ownership of things. People should feel more responsible about everything we're doing. We should be more responsible, feeling the ownership about certain things. This morning I got a message from a friend. He told me, I just saw a message of people dumping garbage in the Mundi. And I was like, no, man, no. This is wrong. It still exists. It's the same with Vuikdag.
Yeah.
I love to go there, man. It's
amazing party.
It's beautiful, man. It's a beautiful boats, beautiful ladies, everything. We all dance. But the next day, the sea is full of plastic. Right? So these are the things that we need to start to take ownership on. Okay, we go to Vuik, but why don't we create a Vuik clean? Of course, there's a group going over there. Don't get me wrong.
You're going for years now.
Yeah,
a lot of great people.
Exactly, but it's not the same people who went the day before.
Yeah, it should be everyone, not a group.
Exactly, everyone.
Yeah.
Like, it should be inclusive. And the third thing I would think is that which is the organization. We need to organize ourselves better. Like I said, we would like touch a little bit the carnival. Last year in 2019, I saw the carnival after 19 years.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Like, that's a long time to not see a carnival.
It's a long time because I'm always going December, Pagara, Fiesta.
Yeah.
We go. But I was never going in February, March, because
you have to choose, of course. You can't go back that often.
Exactly.
It's a long flight, it's expensive, so you gotta. Yeah. It's understandable that you choose Christmas and New Year's.
Exactly. And it was funny because I celebrated my birthday also in the same period after 18 years. So the last time I celebrated was when I was living on the island. And I saw the carnival. And of course, I say I have a more grown-up mind, and then I start to see and observe and analyze the carnival from a project management perspective. Like, I thought, okay, how are the people creating this? And this thing is impressive.
Absolutely.
Bro, it's impressive.
Yeah, it's beautiful, well-organized, it's vibrant, it's fun. Thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah. And then I spoke with a friend. I said, hey, let's try to, I'm not the strongest guy in numbers, but I like to put things sometimes in numbers. I said, okay, how much is this carnival costing us every year? I don't know if my calculation was right, but we came around like 14 to 16 million Antillian guilders, which is divided by 2 is around 8-9 million euros. It costs us every year. Like, it's going, people buying their suits and everything. And what I want to say with this is that we don't lack creativity because we have one of the best carnivals in the world, for sure. Everyone should go there once in a while.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everyone should see it, and you should see it on all the islands because they're all unique and they're all great. On Bonaire, Aruba, Curacao, they're all equally awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we don't lack creativity for sure. We don't lack organizational skills.
No.
Because you have the Grand Marche, but in the evening, all the suits turns on with beautiful lights and everything, and everyone they are having their drinks. There's toilet. There's a whole shopping cart with ice because my drink should stay cold. So all these things, they're perfectly organized, like amazingly organized.
Yeah, my dad always said what impressed him was how well the carnival can run, even though everyone's drinking, dancing, and having fun. How smooth it can still go.
Yes.
Because you have so many of those carts, completely decorated. You have hundreds of people. Somehow they manage to get thousands of people who are partying, drinking, smoking, dancing, eating, to still march properly in the same direction and organize in a way. So that's how I've always went to carnival, seeing there's so many bands, so many instruments, so much electronics going on, and everything still fucking works.
Exactly. And everyone is mobilized. Everyone's motivated.
And everyone is having a good time.
Everyone is having a good time. Exactly. So we don't lack creativity, organizational skills, or whatever is necessary to organize such impressive things.
And the passion, of course, because people are absolutely crazy passionate about carnival.
Yes.
If some people, they would sooner give up Christmas than give up carnival.
Yeah.
The effort that has to go into it can only come from deep passion.
Exactly.
Making all those costumes, and also when you talk about for the kids carnival, it's a lot of work to get kids also to be in line for that to work. So we definitely do not lack creativity, organizational skills, or
talent. Yeah.
Talent, absolutely.
Or whatever other invisible skill we are not seeing or I don't know about. But what I'm trying to say is we have everything. But that's great. But when it starts to hurt is when I see the school system, if we can use the same skills for our school system, for our economy, for our health system. If we can project those skills on the same areas, then I think we will start to create a nice revolution and things are gonna move. So, okay, maybe this is not such a nice comment, but I think no one is asking the gobierno to go to the carnival or to organize or start a group of carnival. So why would you not do the same in helping other areas of our country?
Yeah, that's a good point. And I really like the carnival analogy in a sense that if we can execute, we as a culture community can execute carnival, in my opinion, and of course I'm super biased because Curacao, but to such a high level and so nicely done. I grew up in the tourist industry with my parents, and the tourists from all over the world would rave about the carnival. It was a big thing. They would come to a dive hotel, but they could not miss out on the carnival. So execute on such a high level.
Yeah.
Why not the same type of input, effort, passion? And I'm sure there's a lot of things because carnival is not the only thing that we excel at. I mean, of course, we talked about it on the phone too. There's a high export of talented athletes, for example. Yes. Culinarily, we have really high talents. There's a lot of fields where we're executing at a high level of. I think what you're trying to tell me is that there's some base elements that's missing: education, childhood, upbringing.
Exactly. So, exactly. We're saying the same thing. Like we should focus with the same passion, with the same dedication, with the same precision in execution. We should be executing also in other areas, and then I think we would excel as a whole, because we are excelling in things like sports, which is great. Everyone knows our baseball players around the world. Soccer has also been doing very great in the past years. We have people, also friends of ours, that are the best cook around, and running
best
great
photographers.
As photographers. Yeah. We have so many
artists. Yeah, absolutely. There's, and that's why I feel I'm biased when I talk about Curacao, because the amount of talent and skill there is so abundant.
Yes.
You can't even start with a list because you never end. Do you think the reason why, the analogy of if you can do it for carnival, you should be able to do it for something else? You think the problem with that is the whole abundance versus scarcity issue.
Yeah, the abundance and scarcity mentality.
Yeah.
And also, again, not capitalizing on the opportunity, because the opportunity is that we are great in what we're doing, but we should like project it on other things as well. I think the moment we should start to think like, hey, it's not only I'm the best in baseball, I'm the best in soccer, I'm the best in carnival, in organizing an amazing carnival, but the same skills apply also in the other areas.
Absolutely.
Right? So if we are disciplined, if we have to focus and we can persist to create something that also applies to the other areas, like we said, the economy, the safety also,
healthcare,
the education, etc. Infrastructure. Yeah, we all know where it hurts in our country,
absolutely.
Right? So if we, nothing stops us to go and start fixing things.
Same as organizing Feestdag and Carnival. Like the government also won't stop you. You can do it yourself. You can step up.
Hey, you know how crazy people become if they are not finding a boat, right?
Hey, então se we'll stop jump up of jump in, problema.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, like, where do you think step one should be? Like, if we look at now moving forward, which one of those elements, those places that hurt, where should we sink our teeth into?
Yeah.
Where should the money go, the technology, the effort, the focus? Of course, that's a very simple way to think about it. Of course, it should be everywhere. But where does your heart say we got to put more effort?
Yeah, I'm going to say something not so popular again.
Okay.
There is no quick fix.
No, absolutely not.
There's no quick fix. I don't want to talk a lot about the subject because it's a very delicate thing to touch. But for example, we know our tourism industry and the refinery is or are our only means of income.
Yeah,
we know this already for 20 years. And I used to live on the island. I know this. You know this. We know this 30 years ago. We know it. But we never took the opportunity to fix it. So it hurts now to say, okay, guys, sorry, but there's an expiry date, and we went all over the expiry date. So there's no quick fix. But there's opportunity because I don't know where the saying comes from. They say the best day to plant a tree was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, but the best day to plant a tree is again today. So we just got to start.
Just go.
In my opinion, we are having a little bit too much conversation instead of I'm trying to convince you by talking a lot instead of doing and showing you, hey, I started. Maybe you should join me or okay, if you don't want to join, also fine, but at least start.
Yeah.
Because emotion comes from action, massive action. Only when you do, things start to move.
I completely agree because you can't show someone a road if you haven't paved it yet.
Exactly.
You have to start paving the road so someone sees the direction you're going in, how they're going to walk it.
Exactly.
And that passiveness is something that I've always had a lot of trouble with. A whole lot of talking and a whole lot of disagreeing.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of not letting someone be able to start because it doesn't comply with your point of view.
Exactly.
So nothing gets done.
Exactly.
I can get my way, but you can't get your way either.
You can't get your way, no.
Yeah. And again, people, we're talking in wide terms here. We're not singling out any group of people.
Exactly.
We're not saying that people aren't doing amazing things and people are working hard. There's a lot of people working towards the growth. We're talking about the general sense of the problem with the mindset and how to get the whole island moving forward.
Yeah. Let's clarify that immediately. Disclaimer: there are so many people doing a lot of great things. That's not what we are.
That's literally why I started the podcast, to talk to all these awesome people, including you.
Thank you.
So,
but I want to say also something about your podcast, Daryl, because you started. This is episode number 8. It's already great, and I can already feel the energy that this is gonna be big, man. It's gonna be huge. Because you found something, you capitalize on the opportunity. So please continue doing this.
Absolutely.
And I'm so happy to be doing it in English as well. Of course, once in a while we throw some papillon words.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
But we can export this product. We can show the world. I mean, everyone, a lot of people, at least majority of the people in the world, they speak English.
Yeah.
So we can export this beautiful podcast we are making right here.
And that's the reason I chose for English.
That's perfect.
Because I want our community to benefit from it.
Yes.
But there's absolutely no reason why people who do not know about the islands to not learn and embrace and appreciate and recognize all the great things that we have to offer. It's our community and our culture and island is too great to not share with people.
Exactly.
And I want to share.
Yes.
So that's why we chose for English. And again, the podcast is its own form of a technological step, a communications channel, a medium to try and give back.
Yes.
In my own small way. But technology is something that you are proficient in.
Yes.
And where you're using as a skill to actively give back to the islands.
Exactly, yeah.
And we already talked about that. Starting is important. Just getting going, making the first step. What was your first step in technology with relation to Curacao? Because you talked about Papekumi. You have the Tech Meetup.
Yeah.
So what was the first thing that when you've had your career and your skills, this is how I'm going to start giving back?
Exactly, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the Curacao Tech Meetups, because for the people who never heard about the Curacao Tech Meetups is the leading tech conference of Curacao. And
this year you have your third conference, right?
We have a third. We had to move it online.
As with everything?
As with everything. Yeah. Even though I'm a very digital, technological guy, but I like this,
Absolutely.
the human connection. That's the thing.
But third is already super impressive because it's not unfamiliar that on Curacao things don't get put through.
Yeah.
People always have like a good start, but a lot of things kind of wash out.
Yeah.
But being able to, for the third year already, put something as big as this together, that already shows the importance of it.
Exactly.
So explain to us what the goal and the reasoning is behind the Tech Meetup.
Yeah. So I started with the Tech Meetup in 2018. There's a whole story. You can go on the internet and you can read it. Go to my website, adricwalter.com or CuracaoTechMeetups.com. And you will find a story. But the short version is it was also an opportunity to go speak at the University of Curacao. A teacher over there asked me, hey, would you like to come say something? And there is where the Tech Meetups were born. And yeah, the first year we just went and 200 people signed up and they showed up. And we had 5 great days, including a network. Just get go, super basic. I started.
Absolutely.
The second year, which was last year, 2019, I thought, what if we can bring this to the next level? Like, what if we can really make a conference out of this? And I went to the Central Bank of Curacao, the auditorium over there. And then we had 1,311 registrations.
Wow.
We just grew.
That's a big jump from the first year.
Big jump. I was the only speaker the first year because I also believe in the principle of first do it, then do it right, then do it perfect. So just start, right? We started.
Absolutely.
And I went from myself as one speaker to 35 speakers from one sponsor, who's my friend. He's the owner of a supermarket. And he said, oh man, I'm going to support you. He brought some chips, some Coke, and we got it going. So we went from one sponsor to 10 sponsors the second year. From 200 something registration to 1,311 registration, because we keep all our data. Like
absolutely,
we register everything, and
you're a technology person, so data is
the data is very important. And one beautiful thing about the Tech Meetups is that 57% of our visitors were women, ladies.
Wow,
that was great.
That's a unique margin in that landscape.
Exactly. So it's a very male dominant industry. So I was very happy that we could subscribe to also by inviting the ladies. So we also push on a women in tech hashtag to help the ladies, so we can foster more female leaderships in technology. Did I answer your question?
I think so. I think you answered it better than I asked it.
Okay.
So
because we talk, but
absolutely,
I should be answering your question.
So now this year is the third one. Is going to go online.
Yes.
What's going to be the focuses for this year?
Yeah.
What are you working on?
Yeah,
this
we
year?
had to re-strategize. I was happy we had to re-strategize because I already wanted to do this thing for a while online. But just doing it online by putting a lot of people in a room or a Zoom call, and then everyone is playing on their phone, that's not what I wanted. So we created a really unique concept. It's called Curacao Digital Build-Up Marathon. It's just like a marathon. Like I said, there's no quick fix. What we're doing over here is a marathon. We have a lot of things to fix. It's just like a marathon. It's long, it's tedious, it's difficult. But first, before you run a marathon, you need to have the right mindset. You need to have the right, you need to know when to continue at the moment that you might stop.
Yeah.
So we cut the event in two. So in October, we're going to do 1 week. And this week is about the preparation. We're going to prep everyone. You can come, you sign up, bring your laptop, all online, of course. We are bringing lots of people from abroad. So I can finally bring my European network to this thing. We're going to prepare the people with a lot of types of skills, like introduction to computer programming. But if you're a programmer, you can also learn more about programming. And if you're advanced programming, there's also skills that you can learn. We will also have things like agile software development. That's also one but we're gonna also teach you that we are building complex systems, and that you can fail. Things might run badly, that the first time you're gonna try maybe it's not gonna work, but you're not gonna give up. So that's all about the preparation. It's gonna take place.
Persevere.
Yes, set through. Persevere. Very, very beautiful word. And then in November we're gonna do the marathon. Then we're gonna really build on the things, and we have selected a couple of domains, which is tourism, open banking and investments, poverty, women in tech. We have the domain of data is the new oil, because we have a lot of data in Curacao, but no one is not using this data, or even making the data available or accessible in a way that you can consume it and build it, for example, in your app. For example, if you want to build an app to predict whatever in Curacao, or by the way, when I'm talking about Curacao, I'm talking also about the rest of the the Dutch Caribbean.
We're using as a placeholder for Dutch Caribbean.
Yeah, exactly. It's a placeholder. So like I said, data is the new oil we have. And women in tech. Maybe I'm forgetting one or two, but at least these are the main ones where we think, because also in the banking, that's another, we can
big subject.
Yeah. The thing about the banks and opening the banks. I mean, guys, we cannot continue like this. It's not possible anymore. The world is getting.
Explain that a little bit more. What exactly is the problem?
Yeah, the problem is that we have the so-called digital-born banks. These are I'm not sure if I can mention any name in the podcast, or if you're.
Let's keep them anonymous.
Okay, we keep them anonymous. Okay, there you can Google it, right? There are digital built banks.
Yeah.
These banks, they do not exist in the physical world. They only exist on the internet. But I have a card, I can pay in the supermarket, etc. You get onboarded by using your webcam and your driver's license or your ID card, your passport, wherever. You never go to a physical bank office. So this concept has already been proven. But Curacao is not there yet. We are not there. People are still, if I'm not mistaken, still using a check. Like you go check on toner. You can go, we can write a check, and okay, fair enough. The online banking, it's there, but it's not. It's there, but I cannot integrate my new super cool app into the bank.
Yeah,
I cannot build a budget app for the people in the Dutch Caribbean, in Curacao, or even the world, because our banking system is not open. Okay, I know there are a lot of regulations, and there are always a reason why it's not working.
But that's no excuse.
It's no excuse because the technology is.
If it can work here, it can work there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think that's kind of a reoccurring theme. We talk about the elements on the islands where technology is kind of missing out.
Yeah.
It seems that oftentimes there's a wall of choosing to not do it for a reason no one understands.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't get done.
Very illogical reason.
Exactly.
Because technology is not the reason. We are far beyond. We already have artificial intelligence that can predict things about you and I that none of us could have ever predicted as humans. Yeah. So the challenge is not the technology. The challenge is the willingness to change. And I understand there are certain belangen, people who want to say, okay, this is my monopoly. I want to keep it like this. But it's not favoring the country.
No. And I would question if those people actually understand that enterprising the opportunity will give them more money.
Yes, it will.
Because again, we're talking about the assumption of scarcity versus in most cases, the fact of abundance.
Yes.
There's always more to be made for everyone. I do not think that Apple would be as big of a company if they weren't competing against Google.
Yes.
Maybe I'm completely off base, but in the example of the islands, there's more than enough untapped resources, untapped financial gain that still needs to be made.
Exactly. So to continue elaborating on this thing you're saying is that our economies are, I'm not an economist and I don't want to pretend to be one, but the little bit I know about the economy is that we are too focused on either the local economy or a little bit on the economy in the Netherlands, a little bit, or doing a little bit. But there's a whole world. There are many markets in the world.
Absolutely.
We should subscribe to these markets, develop ourselves that we can plug ourselves, just like we plug a USB or HDMI in a port. We should be able to develop things so we can subscribe and tap into those markets because the markets are bigger. Imagine if we could build a digital bank made in Curacao. Let me call it Cura Bank, or for example. Imagine that people in United States or Europe or Asia are banking with Cura Bank. Just like Skype was invented in Estonia. Why can't we build a Cura Bank?
Because as we mentioned before, it's not a lack of creativity.
No.
Passion, talent, skill set, and opportunity. Yep. So it is a really big question. Why not?
Why not?
So I have my own personal opinion of why I think why not. I'm curious to, it's a very simple question answer, of course. It's too simple for the reality of the world. But why not? What do you think is the problem? What's the reason that we're not doing that?
Yeah, it boils down to the MAO I just said and the willingness, right? Like the mentality, the attitude, and the organization. Because we can organize ourselves. We can organize a carnival, so we can organize in building and fixing our things like banks, but also fixing the poverty.
Absolutely.
Right? My father is a social worker, and back in the days we used to see a lot of poverty discussed over the dinner table. Unfortunately, it still exists. The unemployment rate of Curacao was in 2018 13.4. Last year at the Tech Meetups, I told the people, hey, my KPI for this year is 21.2, which is still the unemployment rate of that.
For people who don't know, KPI is key performance indicator.
Yeah. Sorry for using that term. It means that it's a number that you measure things. Like the unemployment rate was 13.8. Then it went to 21.2. And this year it's already 50%. Half of the people, they are unemployed. That's huge, man. That's super painful.
It was already bad at 13%.
It
so
was
50
bad,
is...
What's 50? It's like if it's you and I, either you don't have a job or I don't have a job or a means of income.
Exactly.
It's one of us. It's worrying. And
it's too many people.
Exactly. And to answer the question, why not? I mean, it's a mentality thing. I think we like we said, maybe we are repeating ourselves a little bit, but see the opportunities, and do not only rely on the local markets, because the markets are also, we have Curacao or whatever island you're on is part of a bigger whole.
Absolutely.
And with the technology and the digitalization, we can access. I mean, you can ask. We are sitting here in the Netherlands. We can speak with our family, our friends on the islands, but we can also speak with someone, let's say in China or in Japan or in Singapore or in Russia or United States, wherever you want to go. It's super simple. It's a super simple concept, but for some reason we are not aware about it, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like, it's like you need to build a house, but you refuse to use a hammer and nails.
Yes.
It's exactly the same thing, because all the means and tools that people need to make those steps,
yes,
is readily available, if not mostly free.
Yes.
Also.
Yeah.
If you can't learn a skill on the internet right now for free, you're not looking hard enough.
Yeah.
And we talked about mentality, yes, already. And like I said, I think the reason why it's not happening is because we're not agreeing or teaching at a young age the importance of doing it.
Exactly.
And for me, the opportunity cost is what always gets me moving. Mm-hmm. What do I miss out by not doing it? And right now it seems that people do not understand how much there is to lose or to miss out on if you don't integrate technology, if you don't make that step, if you don't think about digitalizing your life and using it as a means. Why not make an extra 1,000 euros a month because you're developing software, making stock photography and selling it online, whatever. Why not? There's so much to be gained without having to take away from anyone.
Yes.
And also the fear that if I do something and I make more, that means that someone else might not have that.
Yeah.
It's not, you're not taking a piece of the pie is just growing. There's more pieces to be had.
Or we go bake more pies. We create
more pies.
We create a pie factory.
There you go.
That's the way we should think. Not, we have one pie. If I eat this part of the pie, or if you eat this part, I will not get my... No, we should think, I have a pie. I'm going to bake a pie for you. And then afterwards, we're going to create a pie factory.
Going to make sure everyone gets a pie.
Everyone gets a bolo preto.
No one, exactly.
Yeah, right? Or
bolo chupete. Here you go.
Why we are not exporting these things? Why we don't have a pastéis factory? We should be exporting pastéis to the world.
Yeah, and if you think about all the different subjects, like culinary, food is an important part of our culture.
Yes.
I do not understand, and I will never accept that every single person in the world has tried a pastéis.
They should try a pastéis.
It's too delicious. It's too simple for not everyone to know, because everyone knows what sushi is. It's Japanese.
Yes, exactly.
Well, it's Japanese bastardized American, but everyone knows what it is. Why is it not that everyone knows what quesillo is, pastéis?
Can we explain to people what this is? Because it's so amazing, man. Pastéis.
Pastéis is like, it's the simplest possible food. It's literally dough filled with whatever fixings and fillings you want. But it's basically the common man's food. I wouldn't go so far to call it peasant food or anything. Yeah. But in the sense of that it's so simple, anyone can get it, anyone can make it, but it's hearty. It's probably not very good for you if you eat too much of it.
Yeah, exactly. You shouldn't be eating too much.
No, but it's absolutely an amazing type of food. It's it's soul food, it's wholesome.
Yeah.
If I eat a pastéis when I'm here, it could be my worst day. Give me a pastéis, I'm good.
Exactly. If I say, where's the pizza coming from? From Italy.
Yeah.
Where's pastéis coming from? From the islands, I would say. This is the type of thing.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned sushi, yeah? Sushi is from Japan? Yeah. I don't know. I think, sorry for the ignorance, but I don't know.
Traditionally, it's Japanese.
Right? Yeah. So why we are not having pastéis in the world?
Exactly.
And this is the way of thinking we should be starting to promote in our islands. Like, okay, who's the person who's gonna create the first pastéis factory that exporting it to the world? I think we should put out this challenge out there. But also our pies, like the bolo preto.
Definitely.
The cocada, the pansaico. Mm-hmm. Those are all things we have. Why we are not exporting these things? Because we haven't seen the opportunity to do it, to think big. And you also ask me why we are not moving, and I think it's also because we don't dare. We are scared to think big,
scared to fail.
Yeah,
because most things, and like you said, there is no quick fix, but most things there is no overnight success. You have to be among the unique souls in the world who become overnight successes.
Yes.
But most things take more than one day of effort.
Exactly.
And for a lot of people, that's not exactly what they want to sign up for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if you get to that day 10 and you start making money, you get to that day 20 and you start making impact, you get to day 30 and you start creating influence, then those 30 days that came before don't matter anymore.
Exactly.
So I think that's a thing that a lot of people don't see. And that's why entrepreneurs from the island, they stand out because they were completely comfortable failing and messing up 100 times. As long as 101, I make money.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And as a business owner myself, we can talk about the emotional side and spiritual side as much as you want, but at the end of the day, you have to make money.
Yeah.
Money walks, money talks.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of positive impacts to be made while also creating financial stability and sustainability for you, your family, your peers. Of course, when you create something, you want the people in your company or your clients to also be profitable, to be happy financially as well. Mm-hmm. So I like to bring it back to the financial part of it. There's a lot of opportunity, a lot of things we can do. If you do make the pastichi export business, there's a lot of positive influence and ways to share a culture. But there's a lot of money to be made too.
There's a lot of money to be made.
Why not? Yeah. Why not enjoy that as well?
Exactly.
And same thing, like we can see that with our baseball players. Amazingly talented people, some of the best in the world. They know how to make bank. They know how to capitalize on their talents and their skills, make it a success. If you make papayas toba in an amazing way, motherfucker, sell that papayas toba and get yours. Get your money, because the people eating it will be happy for it, and you'll make your money, and everyone else will be better off because of that whole process.
Yes. And
I think it's a shame that there's not a 5-star restaurant, a 3 Michelin star restaurant where the main dish is papayas toba. That should be the case. That should be the future that we're heading towards, where something so iconic from the islands, sopi cabrito, I don't care.
Yeah.
It has to, it deserves its place in the spotlight of the world.
And
like there's too much talent, too much skill.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In the broader context of the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Before we get a little bit too ahead of ourselves, I really, really want to dive into your book, because I think it's a subject that a lot of people can benefit from.
Yeah.
Because you've written a book along with 7 other entrepreneurs, or is it 6 other? 6 other authors.
It's 6 with myself. It's 6 other, but in total we are 7 people who wrote the book.
Tell us about the book. What is the book about?
Yes, the book is called Upturn. What is Upturn? First, I need to explain the concept a little bit. We all have these moments in our lives. You start on a beautiful day, and then things go down. You get into trouble, more trouble, and when you think it cannot get worse, you get more troubles.
Yeah.
We all had this ever in our lives.
Yeah, you hit dirt and then you hit rock.
Yeah. Exactly. And then you break through the rock and then go even deeper, right? But then at a certain point, something magical happens. That's a twist. And this twist creates an upward spiral. So you go up like a rocket, because you had the learning, and your end point will be higher than the point you initially started. And this is an upturn. It's a concept. It's a way of thinking. And this version is actually, it's the second book called Upturn 2. And the thing about this book is it's about personal growth. It's all about growing. And in this book, I'm, at least in my part of the story, I'm talking about, the title of my story is The Art of Becoming Unstoppable. What does it require to become unstoppable? And there, again, I talk about the mindset, and I have also a model where I'm giving you where you can always use to become unstoppable. But my other authors, which are the 6 of other authors, they are also talking about a lot of other things which regards to the personal growth. Like, for example, the art of starting, like, you need to start. Like, that's also personal growth. Like,
absolutely.
You have a big dream. You want to start a company, or you want to you want to travel around the world. But you got to start. But we also have, like, for example, a story in the book of the other lady who's talking about how your body's talking back to you. Like, many times you're ignoring the signs that we are seeing. And so we have...
Is that like in health or like stress or emotional?
Yeah, all kinds of things.
Okay.
All kinds of things. Your body is always constantly talking with you. Like when you have sleep, you go to sleep, right? When you feel your stomach, you're gonna eat. But there are more signs. Those aren't. It's not limited to those. Yeah. And how this thing can guide you. I don't want to spoil too much about the book, but it's long story short, it's about personal growth. And there you can also read my story and how I came to the Netherlands and all the difficult things I experienced. This is a relatively short story, but it's extensive enough to give you a good impression. But I'm gonna write the second book where I'm gonna really elaborate about,
dig deep into
dig deep into things. And I'm just gonna give one little gift away, which is the F of focus. You need to always have a focus. What are you focusing on? I'm focusing on technology. I mean, there are so many things I can focus on, but I focus on technology. That's what I do the best. That's what I'm going to do. Like I said, like we said before, if you're a plumber, the best thing is focus to be a plumber or focus to be a doctor or wherever you think you're the best at, right? So the book is about personal growth and how it can make you grow. And the book it's about to come. It's actually, we sent it last week to the print. So as we speak, it's being printed, many of the books.
I'm excited.
Yes.
Because especially to see how the different authors can come together and all focus on one subject from different angles.
Exactly. Yeah.
And personal growth is something that I think it's a shame to not take the opportunity to do so.
Yes.
In this, there's so much information. There's so many avenues to get support and to get good information and to relate to other people's stories. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're all unique, but a lot of people walk the same paths and encounter the same issues. So it seems like it's the best time ever in human history to work on yourself and to create personal growth for yourselves. So I'm really excited. And Adric was kind enough to let us use a discount code. So if you want to pre-order the book, and I highly recommend that you do, if you use the code Talk Antiano to me 25, was it right? You get 25% discount on the book.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely getting one for myself, and I'm getting two as a gift for two friends of mine who I think will definitely benefit from it.
Thank you very much.
So check out the book. And I mean, you're into technology. You're an author as well. You're working on a second book. So you have your hands in a lot of different things. And I'm a kind of person that I like to think that we all are working because we feel we have a sense of purpose in the world.
Yes.
And we talk about a lot of things. What feels like your purpose in the world? What's your duty, your essence of all the work you're doing right now? Okay, give it to us short. What drives you?
Yeah, what drives me is creating a legacy. I'm actually working for my grandchildren.
Thinking ahead.
Yeah.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. Our great-great-grandchildren. So probably, let's say in 200 years, they are watching this podcast. I probably am not going to meet them. Or maybe I am. I don't know.
If Elon Musk's plan works out, we might be there.
Yeah. So maybe I'm talking about 6 generations after me.
Legacy.
And no, it's not legacy only for my great-grandchildren, because I consider every person in the world is also our generation, right? Because we can create something right now, like someone ever invented the light bulb that also affected a lot of generations after. I mean, we have light, right? We have technology. We have so many inventions. Mr. Ford invented the car. Yeah, now we are having Mr. Elon Musk creating an electrical car. Right?
Yeah.
So this is the type of drive I have to change the world. I always, as a kid, I thought I would be an inventor. I'm gonna invent things. So this is for me the drive to give back. That's a very I don't think I have the words to describe the drive or how exactly this is motivating me. But like
usually when it's real, when it's genuine, it is hard to explain.
Yes.
So I can definitely appreciate the sense of wanting to leave a legacy. And you speak a lot about community and giving back, and that the whole world's a generation. And I'm also someone that I've come to learn that every person from the islands, every Antiano, is family.
Yes.
Because everything we do can benefit everyone. Most of us have big families. I don't know if you have a big family, but I have, for example, I think maybe 12 aunts and uncles across the islands from my mom and my dad's side. So a lot of people, like a big community, big family. You want the things you do to benefit everyone down the line.
Exactly.
But your neighbor that you grew up next to is also family.
Yes.
Your dad's best friend who isn't related, you still call them tío.
You call them tío.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
uncle,
family goes deep, and be able to create something that leaves a legacy for everyone to learn from.
Yes.
And especially if we're going back to the topic of technology, it's something that is by definition something that should be shared, in my opinion. If you create an app, everyone can download it. Yes. You create a website, everyone can visit it.
Yes.
You create a technology, or you use something to improve something. It's not, I don't think people ever inherently create technology to exclude it from certain people. So with the tech meetups, we have to assume that the things that are being done there will benefit the greater community.
The greater community, yeah. That's your question about tech meetups? Yeah. One thing we have in tech meetups is that it's inclusive. We have a kids tech Saturday. We have a leadership training in a villa called Business Villa Session, so you can come. I'm talking about now the offline version.
Yeah, the physical one.
The physical one, yeah. Everyone can come to visit the talks in Central Bank. We have networking part. And now we're going online. We will also have a part where you can network with each other. Oh, you saw something, someone very interesting. You want to know, let's say, something extra about programming or about leadership, a certain leadership style. You can network with each other. So we will give you the chance to be networking online as well. So yeah, we are having an open platform. Everyone can come and contribute. I actually invite people to come and contribute because I think what we are doing is really impactful. And I think one or two people started off tech meetups with their startups. It's just because they met each other over there. And then I just need to check on them if it's still going on. But at least they had the intention and they started. And
starting is important. That's the most important thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not everyone has to succeed, reach for the stars. But if, let's say, the person who started, it didn't pan out the way they wanted, it's at least they shows them, this is what I can do.
Yes.
This is what I can't. Learn from it and keep going. So
yes,
starting is always the most important part.
Starting is very important, yeah.
Before we wrap it up, because I definitely want to invite you back. There's a lot of subjects that I think that I would love to have your insight on. From your opinion, just from the top, what do you think is the one thing that people like us can do? People in your generation and in my generation, what's the one thing we can do now for the improvement, technology-wise, of the country? What can we do? What can someone like me do to have a positive impact?
What we can do, I think, actually, I'm convinced that we have, let me use the term of our island people. We have so many talented ones, and I would like to invite everyone to come and create something, especially the guys in technology. I mean, there are many of them are my friends, and I'm always trying to tell them, guys, I love your business, but it's also time to give back, right? What we can do is start concrete projects. I started with the tech meetups. The tech meetups is a platform everyone can come. You're going to meet each other. You're going to network. You're going to meet your best friend. Maybe you're gonna meet your next wife or whatever. You can come over there. It's concrete. We have a kids tech Saturday. We are doing things online. We're teaching people to program. We are building apps. We are printing face shields. We are doing a lot of things
with 3D printers.
With 3D printers, yeah. We are part of the other consortium. We are not doing it alone, but at least we have a platform. You have a base where we can start up. Yeah. So to get concrete is start a concrete project. You started, for example, right now, this beautiful podcast. I so love it. I'm gonna promote this thing everywhere, and my friends all over gonna hear about this in China, in Hong Kong, in Russia, everywhere I come. I'm telling them, guys, if you want to know about the good things, this is the podcast. Talk Antiano with me. Because you give me the opportunity today to come tell my story, which I'm super humbly thankful for. It's so amazing that I can tell people about. It's not about me. I mean, like I said,
it's the bigger picture.
It's the bigger picture. It's the vision. I don't want to be the guy to be in front. No, I want to go back in the backside. But you started, like, if I take you an example, I have the tech meetups. You have the beautiful podcast. We come together. We create magic. Because other people, I assuming at least we inspired a lot of people today, and we're gonna inspire more people in the upcoming years, because this thing is gonna stay for a while on the internet. Excuse me. So start with something concrete. Like, if you have the idea to build whatever app, go do it. If you have the idea to start a podcast, go do it. If you want to start an academy about how to cook food from the islands, do it. If you want to write a book, do it. Just start. Just do it. And these things, they might sound so simple, but it's mostly the simple things, doing simple things on a consistent level. It's what makes it difficult.
Yeah. Do it every day.
Do it every day.
Work on it.
It's just like the gym.
Yeah. Be resilient, be patient.
Exactly. You can do the reps every day, but getting the dumbbells. I mean, I have the dumbbells every day in my living room, man. How many times I'm touching them?
If you don't touch them every day, you're not going to get what you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
and just to add to that, because I definitely agree with start with something concrete and just do it. And I think what the great thing is about Curacao, Bonaire, and Aruba is that I've never had a situation in my life, I've never heard of a situation where there wasn't someone who was willing to help. Ever.
That's funny, yeah.
I've done a lot of things on the islands. We've organized the biggest gaming event when we were 15 and 16.
Yeah, wow.
We were at World Trade Center. We had a whole room and everything.
Awesome.
We were 15-year-olds.
Yeah.
We really wanted to do it, and we didn't have to ask twice for help.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
There's always people who are in your corner, always people who are willing to help. That's what makes our community so unique. Exactly. It's not everyone, but there's always someone. Your friends, your family. I've never had a situation when someone said, I want to achieve this, do this, and someone said, zoek het uit bij. No, you have someone in your corner. So start, do something concrete, and let the people around you who want to help and contribute.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, I'm going to take a guess that someone like you, you're open to helping people who want to take a step in technology. So if you are ambitious in that sense, you want to have an understanding of what you want to achieve, contact people like Adric, talk to people who have the experience, who have the want to help, let them help. There's no reason to try it by yourself if you don't want to, and there's no reason to be motivated and inspired to keep taking steps forward. So
awesome what you're saying, man. Super awesome. I mean, we should... Yeah, I'm inviting everyone. Contact me. I mean, I'm available. My contact is all over the internet. You can Google me. You find me.
Absolutely. I contacted him out of nowhere via Richard, and he answered back. You were super generous with your time and with your effort. You offered to have a phone call with me so we can talk about stuff beforehand.
Yes.
So use that. Do it, because you're a great example. And remember, we're brothers and sisters. We know that there are hundreds of people, thousands of people, just like you, who want to help. Yeah. No one wants to keep each other down. We all want to rise together. A rising tide raises all ships.
Yes.
And there's no reason why beautiful people, an island, and a culture community like us, we can achieve that.
Yes.
I want to thank you super, super much for coming. I think this was my favorite podcast so far. I'm going to keep saying that every episode, but I really appreciate it. Thanks for the insight. I would love to invite you back again in a few weeks so we can dive into some more details, but
we can. I'm available. Daryl, from my side also, I would like to say a couple of words to you. Really, thank you very much for creating this podcast, because I think there are so many beautiful, great people that are gonna sit in this chair after me, and I'm gonna get inspired. I'm gonna be hooked. I'm gonna subscribe. We're gonna promote this. I'm gonna use my network to promote it, and it goes far more than only the the Netherlands. And
I deeply appreciate it.
I mean, we should get this out. And thank you so much for bringing this. I'm gonna give you a couple of names of people who I think really deserve to be in this podcast, because
awesome.
There are so many. We have so many great people.
That's the thing. I couldn't not do this podcast because there's too many great people.
Too many great people.
Too many great stories. Too many great experiences, and you amongst them. So. How could I not do this podcast? I truly do appreciate it. That's the whole reason why I'm doing this podcast, to share that sentiment that you have.
Awesome. Please do continue with it. And whatever I can help, or I can mobilize my resources or my network. I mean, I know a lot of people, so I can easily help you with things. Also, the people who are listening or watching, please contact me or contact you. We are willing to help. We need to create better bonds in our community,
exactly.
Support each other.
Yeah.
We were, it seems as if we are having a new podcast. Let me keep this
one.
No,
go into it. Don't stop.
Keep this one short.
Dive into it.
Let's support each other. If you have a beautiful concept, let's support each other. Many times we have this concept of jealousy amongst us. It's unfortunately a bad concept. Yeah. I mean, I should be happy when you are growing, when you're prospering, when you're going forward. We need to become in a way that we support each other no matter what, right? This is something for another time.
Yeah, but I can agree. It should be more toward the side of unconditional support.
Unconditional support, man. I'm happy you have a successful podcast.
Yeah,
I should feel proud for it.
Exactly. We should be proud of every one of our people's achievements.
Exactly.
Because again, it doesn't remove anything from us.
Yes.
It only gives us something.
Yes.
So I completely agree. And something we can dive into the next episode.
We're going to dive in.
I think an important subject to cover.
Yeah. So this was number 8.
This is number 8.
Okay. I'm looking forward also to come for the number 800. That's
I'll be there.
Yeah,
that's Joe Rogan numbers, but I'm happy to go there.
No, you're gonna go there. So I want to reserve the spot for the 800, and then
it's yours.
In between, I'm also very happy to come. But really, it's
definitely because again, technology is such an important part of moving forward towards the future. It's something that on the islands we can still utilize to so much gain. So it's something I definitely want to talk about more often. I want to help inspire people to see the potential of that, maybe in more detail in further episodes. But I would love to have you back.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate
it. It has been an honor and a pleasure to be here.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Yes.